So, I think I'm live. Here we are at the shop. Hang on. So we are in the last minute. We're in the last minute throes of getting a car ready for a delivery. The man and his daughter have actually already boarded a cab, and they're on the way over here from the airport. They'll be here in about 10 minutes. We are doing our last minute detailing. There you see Heath. What are you doing, Heath?
I'm wiping her down.
All right, so wiping it down. Audrey is, well, she's drinking coffee, but she actually did a lot of work. She just isn't right at the moment. And we got Mike over here. What are you doing, Mike?
Vacuuming it out.
All right, so Mike's doing the final vacuum because we always try and do that final little buff on the car and get it ready. And so what we have here, and I'm just going to give you a quick look at it because I want the family to actually see it first, but this is one badass little Cobra. We did it in a paint scheme much like we did the SEMA Mustang. It's got an engine in it that just rocks. It took us a while to get the electronic fuel injection tuned in and set up just right, but the details on this car are pretty amazing. In fact, Heath, can you help me lift the hood real quick? Let me just give you a quick... Okay, because Heath still has to clean a few details in the engine bay, but there you see Heath is, yeah, he figured it out. I couldn't figure out how to do that.
That's what I do.
You could not figure out how to do that, but so last minute touch-ups. The man and his younger daughter will be here in a few minutes, and when that happens, I want to take you, instead of like a filmed delivery, I want to take you on a live delivery. We're actually going to do it in real time, so stay with me, and we'll do that in about 30 minutes. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, so here we are. All right, so let me introduce you to what we're doing here. I went live about, I don't know, an hour ago and told you that we were getting prepared for a man and his daughter to come in and get their Cobra. So I'm going to introduce you to them right now. Sal?
Sal Salingo from New York.
From New York. Couldn't tell by the accent.
I'm Jessie Salingo. I'm his daughter.
And Jessie. So Sal and Jessie, let's just have a few questions here real quick because you haven't seen the final bill yet. And by the way, folks, this is actually the way we used to do business every time before the show came out, and it's kind of the way I prefer to do business, sort of a little bit more raw. What we're doing here in the next 5 or 10 minutes would have taken 4 to 8 hours with the film crew. So this is much easier. So going back to Sal and Jessie. Now, Sal, when did you buy this Cobra?
We started the kit in June of 12.
June of 12, okay. And so it's now December of 2018. Right. So you've had this car for 6.5 years, if my math is correct.
Yep.
Okay, and how long has it been at this shop?
We dropped it off, I'm going to say, God, must have been February?
I was going to say, it was certainly less than a year ago.
Yeah.
So what, 9 months ago, right?
Yeah,
okay, so you had it for...
built.
Yeah, you had it for 5 and 3/4 years, and I've had it for 3/4 of a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so what Sal brought me was the body was in raw fiberglass, but it did run. He had done a lot of the electrical, and I'm not going to be mean to Sal, but we had a few things we had to do in the old electrical system.
So he did the electrical.
He was an industrial engineer.
Oh, okay. So the electrical, a lot of the electrical was done very well, but we had a few gremlins in the wires that we had to take care of. So this has been a father-daughter project almost since the beginning, hasn't it been, Jessie?
And Chemo, who's not here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and your brother too?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you, young lady, now how old are you? You've got to be a teenager?
No, I'm 23.
You're 23? Okay, all right. That's why I'm glad I'm way out of the dating scene. I thought she was like 17. So that's very cool. Very cool. So you're 23, but you got this car when you were about 17, something like that. Now, what possessed you to go into your dad's garage and tinker with a car? Because cars just aren't cool for girls, are they?
Well, I study mechanical engineering, so I like doing things with my hands. But he took me to the car Factory 5 in Rhode Island.
Okay.
And then we got to drive one, so that was a good incentive.
Was that cool?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Okay, so did you actually sort of like this thing that your dad said, let's get it?
Yeah.
So this wasn't just a dad doing it alone. Dad and daughter sort of had a mutual agreement on this.
Dad wanted it for a long time, and I was totally in.
Okay.
We can't forget about Grandpa, who knows everything about everything.
Okay,
So
your dad.
Yeah, so he was the manager. He would sit there and tell us everything we were doing wrong.
Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We have, of course, in the last 9 months, we brought the body down, we straightened out the doors, we took care of what I hope are all the details you were looking for. We rewired it, we did the roll bars, we got the engine tuned and actually set up correctly. We did the dash the way you wanted it, redesigned the dash. We did some gauges and basically finished the car. I believe at this point it is ready to go. So, when Sal called me and said, will you build a kit car? Do you remember what I said, Sal?
No freaking way.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it at all, right?
No, you turned me down 3 or 4 times.
Right, and there's a good reason for it.
Yeah.
Because kit cars are not easy to build. They really aren't as easy as you think. When you bought the car, didn't you think it would be a little bit easier to do than it turned out to be?
It was a little harder than I thought it was going to be, but I had done a lot of research, so I was totally ready for it, and we were great. We had a great time doing it. Like we loved the fact we ran into issues.
Okay.
We were like, that was part of the journey for us.
Okay, but I mean, it takes a lot of skill. I mean, you studied mechanical engineering, and do you have a degree as well?
Yeah, I'm an industrial engineer.
Okay, so we've got 2 engineers building a kit car, and they still found it. It's still a very difficult thing to do, right? So I actually turned him down, and he said, come on, consider it. And so we chatted, and basically, I sort of had a policy when it comes to kit cars that, hey, here's kind of a wild-ass guess at what it might cost to build it, but that's just a wild-ass guess. So here, you are actually seeing for the first time, he hasn't seen the final bill, so he gets to go through and look at the final bill, and I would ask for, by the way, am I catching you guys cold, or have we set any of this up?
No, you're definitely catching us cold.
Okay.
So clearly there's no friends and family discounts.
There is no friends, not on a kit car. In fact, but what he won't find on there is any of my time, which I've spent a fair amount of time on it. So there's actually a fair amount of work that went into it that doesn't actually ever make the bill. So what are you thinking? And be honest.
It's really close to the budget. I mean, right in there.
Okay,
right
we're a little over, right?
A little over, not bad, but tolerable, like within tolerance.
Okay. And one of the things that first of all, I never gave you a hard number, but when we at least threw a guess at it, I think we came in fairly close to our guess. So, Jesse, you haven't seen this yet, have you?
She doesn't even know what color it is.
You don't know what color it is.
We didn't tell her.
Oh.
I asked him to tell me before.
Hang on, hold on. It is sexy, folks. Hang on. So, what did you ask your dad?
So I asked him to tell me before we decided on color because we were discussing a bunch of options, and it had been like a month, and then he didn't tell me. So I asked him, and he's like, I'm just gonna wait and let you see it in person.
So she's afraid it's screaming green or screaming yellow.
I thought you wanted green with red stripes, like Christmas. It's almost Christmas, right? Okay, so folks, it's not green with red stripes. In fact, I'll tell you what. Do you need to discuss anything on that, or do you want to go see?
No, let's go see
the beast. All right, so we're just gonna walk out in here. Let's go through the malt shop, just because that's the door we always walk out of. So, folks, you are gonna see them live. Honestly, honest to God, seeing their car for the very, very first time. And if they don't like it, well, I'm up the creek without a paddle, because we actually, I think we did a really good job with it. Okay, so we're walking through the malt shop. Hang on, we got to turn the lights on in here. Hold on, it's getting real blurry. Give me a second. All right, so you recognize the malt shop. You've seen it on the show 100 times, right?
Yep.
So we're about to walk out of the malt shop. Now, I'm going to have to walk in front of you so that I can see. And if you, Jesse, here's my rule. If you really don't like it, I want you to say you don't like it, okay? I don't I'm not one to say, let's fake this.
Customers.
Okay, so let's. I'm very honest with my customers, and I want to
It's
say.
so pretty.
Wow.
So nice.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
How's
so
that for a color?
That's a nice color.
is that a rocking color or what? I mean, just look at the glass surface. You know, I'm trying to capture a picture here of you guys in the
So nice.
that's a phantom green with custom ghost stripes. Do you notice the stripes are definitely there, but they're not sort of smacking you in the face? That was a 10% argent silver that we added to the phantom green, which this was an original color on a 1939 Hudson. So that's what we used. Now, of course, this is slightly prettier, but what do you think so far of the color of this vehicle?
It's so pretty.
Oh
It's
my
beautiful.
gosh.
It's
like glass.
so nice.
I don't think I've ever seen. I know I've never seen Cobra anywhere remotely in this color thing. This is gorgeous.
No, and look, I've been part of building a lot of Cobras, but this one being done the way it is, the speed of it, the handling, the looks, the details, the straightness, you're going to notice that the gaps on the doors are actually probably better than Carol Shelby ever hoped for. You're going to see that the gaps on the trunk, everything is just the way it's supposed to be, gap and reveal.
Cut the door.
Oh, we had to do a lot of surgery. The fiberglass on the door had significant, we had significant rework to do on the door. So we try and make these cars look like they were born in 2019 in terms of the gaps. So gap work, what do you think? Is it what you'd hope for?
More than I hope for. I mean, when you see it, like, and you've been waiting so long, right? It's been a six-year journey for us. And I mean, the car was built and ready for paint 2.5 years ago. It was at another shop, and it sat for well over a year, and then we brought it here.
Okay, so.
Wow.
Oh, the roll bars. Let me tell you, you know, they're in and they're done and they look fairly simple.
He never wants to talk to me again.
Those were a pain in the gonads. They really were. Doing those roll bars was an absolute nightmare. Nothing wanted to line up. Unfortunately, a lot of the welding work was already done, and it took a lot of manipulation to make those doors, or to make the roll bars function. And right now, we added kind of a cool feature. They're removable with pips, so you can actually remove nothing but these pins, and the roll bar pops right out of the car. It's all pinned in the bottom too, so the roll bar comes out without any tools. And yet it's solid. It is actually solid enough that if you rolled the car, they're designed to actually function correctly.
That car looks amazing.
So nice.
Can't wait to hear it.
Can't wait to hear it. Well, I think that's something we ought to do. And I got to get the gratuitous plate here. Now I got to tell you, there are 3 problems with the car. So let's go over it real quick. Okay. Number 1, go ahead and turn your trunk handle. And you're going to see what the first problem is.
The trunk handle.
Yeah, the trunk release.
Yeah, I know. I cut a thing around my plate.
Okay, so you're going to have a modified plate to make it work, to make it a little bit more comfortable. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, and I mentioned this and it just hasn't arrived yet. We couldn't find the horn button to save our life. Well, actually, it's not the horn button because your horn button is there, but the little cap. Yeah. And what we were thinking is we should really do a FantomWorks cap for that. Okay?
Sure.
And then number 3 is go ahead and open up your trunk.
Open up the trunk.
Yeah, I could not put the prop rods that they liked, or that they provided in the kit. We've got them for you. But here's the reason I did not like it. Let go for a second. Look at what happens to the trunk when you release it. You see how it's flexing?
Yeah.
That would flex so much it would actually, I think, do harm to the hinges. So rather than putting a prop rod on it, what I think we need to do is just something very simple. like an add-on rod, because I just don't like the flex of the trunk. It's just got too much movement in it, and I don't want to see the glass damaged by an improper amount of stress on it. Oh yeah, so what do you think of the treatment we do to the bottom of all the hoods and trunks?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, let's go look under the engine compartment real quick, and then it is time to do that thing. Turn the key. Okay, so notice the bottom of your hood. Okay, bring it down. Okay, so what do you think of your fuel-injected Cobra masterpiece sitting inside? Now, of course, we take very little credit for this work. You really did the lion's share of it. We had a few things to take care of in here, but you did a lot of that. But now it actually starts and runs. The cold idle program is set. The fuel curves are all redone. And at this point, you let this thing warm up for about 4 minutes. And all I can say is, now, Jesse, you're probably too young to remember this, but there was a thing that in the 70s you would see on the dash of a big block car that came out of the 80s. It would say, "Get in, sit down, shut up, hang on." And we didn't get you one of those placards, but basically that's what you need to do when you jump in this car. So, who's going to fire it up? Okay. Look at Audrey being in the corner all quiet. What are you hanging out? Would you say something?
Hi.
Okay, that's Audrey saying hi. Okay, yeah, you got to move all those seat belts out of your way just to get in this thing. Now, the start procedures on it, of course, are do not touch the gas pedal. Just turn the key. It takes about, and you've got to be in neutral with the clutch in, and it takes about 2 seconds for the computer to take over. So go ahead. Now don't touch anything, don't touch the gas. It wants to learn. Right now, it's going through the open circuit cold idle warm-up curve, and when it gets done, it's ready to drive. Now let me ask you, hang on, I got a question for this young lady. Jessie, does this sound pretty badass?
Yeah.
Okay. The guys heard me driving it the other day. They loved it. All right, so for right now, we're gonna sign off until it's time to go drive it, which hopefully will be in about 10 minutes. Stay with us. All right, so at this point, Sal and Jesse have seen the car. We started it up, got it warmed up, but it's cold here today, isn't it?
Yeah, could be a little warmer.
All right, so they're going to put the convertible top up. Oh, that's right, we don't have one. So it is time for them to actually go drive their car for the first time. Hey guys, the film crew's coming in. Can you guys move that truck for a minute? We're about to pull the car out. Can you move that truck? I'll tell you what, if you want to flip it around and bring it in here, that's fine. So, now you don't so much jump in a Cobra as you do strap it on your back. There's a difference in the attitude you take when you get behind the wheel. So, for me, this is color-wise the prettiest Cobra I've ever seen. And from a perspective of the straightness of the paint, I mean, look at this. It is a mirror in every way, shape, and form. So, while they go through the 30-minute operation of getting these seat belts fastened up, because these are 5-point belts, you gonna stay warm, Jesse?
Hopefully, that's the plan.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close your door. Now at this point, since it cooled off, I would give it about 1 minute. Jessie is still fighting with her seatbelt. They're a pain. I mean, I love them, but they are, it is fairly labor intensive to put it on. And let me reach in here and help you. There you go. Go ahead and pull. Watch your elbow. I said that the seat belts were difficult. I wasn't kidding. It's a lot of work to put a 5-point belt on. Now, hang on, I'm going to do one last thing. We're just going to go ahead and snug this one up. So hold it and pull it the other way. We're going to, is that comfortable on you now?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so.
Just waiting on the red light.
Okay, so right now that red light means it's in open loop. So it'll go into closed loop here in a minute, and then they are ready to take off.
Gotta put my hair up.
The computer on this car, the computer took us three rounds to sort of tame it down and actually get it to the point where it wanted to settle in and give us a cold start and a cold idle map. So at this point, the fuel map is all done, the cold idle works, everything works well. So it's about time for them to take off. All right, let me just see something. Put it in gear, because what's our temperature gauge reading?
Temperature is about 90.
Oh, 90? Okay, so it is still quite cold.
Yeah, it's climbing now.
Huh?
It's climbing.
Yeah. All right. All right. See what happens. Try and give it just a little bit of gas. Feather the gas. Okay. That's what you want. So that means you can go ahead and put it in gear. You don't like it? That is a beautiful machine. I hope they see that tractor trailer right in front of them. All right, so a beautiful little Cobra on the way down the road. They're gonna go take it out for a ride. It's cool out here, but it's tolerable, and we'll be back with you in a little bit for their final reactions to how the drive was on their 6.5-year Project Cobra. We'll be back. Stay tuned.